Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Jai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Jai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Jai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gora Hari Bol. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol, Hari 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 Bol. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad, Om Sakracharya Stotra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Jai, Jagannathpuri Dham ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Maharani ki Jai, Sambhaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki Jai, Transcendental Prasad Distribution ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol, all glories to the Son of the devotees, Hare Krishna, glories to the Son of the devotees, Hare Krishna, glories to the Son of the devotees, Hare Krishna, glories to Sri Guru Sri Guru ki Jai. Who's giving class?
Mahotsaha Das Brahmachari.
The poodle distributor?
The poodle distributor.
Who's the book standing?
No longer in use. He's been retired.
So I might push out of it.
Well, you can let you don't feel offended, but after this, I'll get out of it.
Yeah. It'll be good for you if you don't listen to what I say.
I just have to leave in the middle of the class to move the car.
Very good.
I'll be here.
It'll be be here with me in spirit, right?
No, I'll be here with you on Facebook.
You're asking really good questions in the morning. Munaya sadhu pushpakam bhavati lokam mangalam. Yat krita krishna prashna. Chanchal is Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Prachajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prachajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Bhagavad Gita Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupada Mahotsaha Prabhu Astu Tasha Śrīmad ISKCON founder Acharya BBT founder Acharya Jagat Guru Patita Pavana Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhu Astu Tasha Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Nam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamkund Radhakundan Giri Govardhan ki Vaishnavi Vrindavan Dham ki Gaur Mandal Bhumi Navadvip Mahapad Dham ki Purushottam Kshetra Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Gangamai ki Yamuna ki, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrind ki, Yuga-dharma Harinama Sankirtan Yagya ki, Brihad Mridanga Śrīla Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Śrīla Prabhupada's Ecstatic Marathon ki, Jai Go Premanandi, Haribo, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Another ecstatic day in the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ki Jai. Reading from preaching, actually. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mayam Nadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Srivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamatamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Jayatam Srato Pangor Mandama Tirgati Matsarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madar Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shimadatnagara Samhasanasto Shimadada Shri Govinda Devo Prastalabi Sevyamano Smarami Shimadasara Sarambi Bamsi Bhatata Tastita Karshan Venusunar Gopir Gopinata Siesana Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sate Devi Ramami Haripriye Vanchikalpatarubhyasya Kripasandhobi Evacha Tanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namane Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Destarine Mukam Karti Ashram Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripadamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of the most fallen souls, whose mercy enables the lame to cross mountains, enables the dumb to become eloquent speakers. Reading from preaching is the essence. Preaching of Krishna consciousness is real mercy. This is from a purport of Madhya Leela, chapter 9, verse number 49. We also must know what mercy actually is. To give a sick man something forbidden for him to eat is not mercy. Rather, it is cruelty. Unless we know what mercy really is, we may create an undesirable situation. If we wish to show real mercy, we will preach Krishna consciousness. In order to revive the lost consciousness of human beings, the living entities' original consciousness. Śrīla Prabhupada was once I think he was in Rishikesh. It was in his last, when he was winding up his pastimes in 1977. Usually Śrīla Prabhupada was pretty soft with Westerners. But this time, like a Western lady came up to Prabhupada and asked, what are you guys doing, for the sovereign people of the world? What, you guys are simply going and chanting and, distributing your books. What are you actually doing? What are you practically doing, for people? Then Prabhupada said, we're preaching Krishna consciousness. That's real mercy. But she said, but that's not real mercy, right? She said, what do you know about real mercy? Your mercy is simply blowing on the boil, but our mercy is to perform the operation and remove the boil. Śrīla Prabhupada said that because people are so foolish and condemned that they think they have this body. They think that everything related to this body is sacred and their birth of their place where they took birth is sacred. But unfortunately, they don't realize that the living entity never dies and the body never really lives. Nasate vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata ubayor abhidishwanta swa anayo satadashibhi. That those who are the seers of the tattva, those are the seers of the truth, they understand that the body is constantly dying at every minute, at every moment. The body constantly dies. The living entity is eternal. So, due to this small misunderstanding, there's so much nonsense going on in the name of philanthropy. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that even a Kanishta Adhikari neophyte, brand new devotee, who just joined the temple, if he's simply sitting in the temple and ringing a bell, is more effective and more powerful than opening thousands and millions of hospitals. That's the power of devotional service. Because ultimately, when you perform devotional activities, what it really does, it is actually frees you from the cycle of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. Krishna Kripa Prabhu was saying in his class recently that, people come and tell, oh, so like what are you guys doing for your karma? We're saying we're not doing any karma at all. We're only doing devotional service. Because when we do devotional service, we actually are adding to our eternal bank account. It's like this: when you go and invest in someone's body, it's like saying, you have $10,000 and you come up to me, and let's just say I'm your consultant, and you ask me, I have $10,000, where should I invest it? I'll say, why don't you invest it in this company? It's going to go bankrupt tomorrow. Is that a good investment? No, your money is going to be flushed down the drain. But similarly like that, if you're investing in your body or investing in other people's body, that investment is going to go to vain anyway. But the eternal benefit is that which when you invest in something, it only grows and grows and grows and grows. Neha Bhikramanasya prativayana vidite so alpamapiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. That even a small amount of advancement that's made on the path of devotional service, there's no loss or diminution when you do such a thing. Otherwise, if you don't perform this sort of devotional service, great danger is ahead of you. And what does Prabhupada say the great danger is in that purport? He says, you're going to glide down into the lower species of life. You see in this, I don't know if it's there in this one, but in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.1 that we have, you can open and see over here, there's a cycle of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. You can see over here, there's all these different species of life. Finally, the jiva takes birth of a man, but again glides down into lower species of life. That is the situation. That's the great danger that we are facing in this material world. So real preaching means preaching Krishna consciousness. Because otherwise, another example Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada gives of philanthropic activities is that, let's just say 1,000 people come together and they want to go out and empty an ocean with their hands. Is that possible? It's not possible. And even if they do manage to do such a thing, they just take the ocean from one part and put it in another part. So the problems in the material world never really go away. You try finding a cure for one disease, 50 other diseases come with it. Right? That's been the history of recent medical history, that you've tried finding the cure for one disease and you get more deadly diseases and more deadly diseases and more deadly diseases. Why? All this is because they're not following the laws of material nature. They're not following God's laws. They're following only their belly and their genitals, and this following of the belly and the genitals are taking them all over the world, and is simply entering into another womb after another womb after another womb, suffering repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. So, we're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 23. Sattvam, Raja, Tamaha, Iti, Prakrite, Gunaha, Tai, Yukta, Paraha, Purusha, Ekaha, Iha asyam datte sthiti adhaye hari virinchi hara iti samagnam shreyamsi tatra kalu satvam tano nrinam syu Sattvam rajastamasiti prakriter gunastair. Sattvam rajastama iti prakriter gunastair. Yukta para purusha eka ihasya datte. Stityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagnaha. Shreyamsi tatra kalu sattvatanur nirnam syu. Sattvam rajastamasiti prakriter gunastair. Yukta para purusha eka ihasya datte. Sityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagna. Shreyamsi tatra kalo sattvatanu nirnam syu. Sattvam rajastamasiti prakrite gunastair. Yukta para purushak ekaihasya datte. Sthityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagnaha. Shreyam tatra kalo sattvatanurnam syuh.
Sattvam rajas tamahiti prakrite gunastaya.
Yukta para purusha ekaihasya datte. Sityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagna. Shreyam sitatva kalu sattva tanurnam syu. Sattvam rajas samasiti prakrite gunaster. Yukta para purusha ekaihasya datte. Yadaye hari virinchi hareti samagna. Amsitata saro satsam shu.
Sattvam rajas tama iti prakrite gunastaya.
Sattvam rajas sama iti prakrite gunaster.
Yuktaf paraf purusha ekaihasya dhatte.
Yuktaf para purusha ekaihasya datte.
Sityadaye hari virinchi hareti samgna.
Sityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagnaha. Samgnya.
Shreyam sitatra khalu sattva tanurnam syuh.
Shreyam sitatra khalu sattva tanurnam syuh. Sattvam rajas samasiti prakrite gunaster. Yukta para purusha ekaihasya datte. Sityadaye hari virinchi hareti samagna. Sattvam rajas tama iti prakrite gunaste. Ta para purusha ekaihasya datte. Yadaye hari virinchi hareti samagna. Dayam sitat sattvatam syu. Sattvam rajas, sattvam goodness. Rajaha passion. Tamaha the darkness of ignorance. Iti thus prakrite of material nature. Gunaha qualities. Tai by them. Yuktaha associated with. Paraha transcendental. Purushaha the personality. Ekaha one. Iha asya of this material world. Datte accepts. Sityadhaye for the matter of creation, maintenance and destruction, etc. Hari, Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Virinchi, Brahma. Hara, Lord Shiva. Iti, thus. Samgnaha, different features. Shreyamsi, ultimate benefit. Tatra, therein. Kalu, of course. Sattva, goodness. Tanoha, form. Rinam, of the human being. Syu, derived. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of quality of goodness. Purport: that Lord Krishna, by his plenary parts, should be rendered devotional service, as explained above, is confirmed by this statement. Lord Shri Krishna, in all his plenary parts, are Vishnu Tattva, and the Lordship of Godhead, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Shri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baladev. From Baladev is Sankarshana. From Sankarshana is Narayana. From Narayana is the second Sankarshana. And from this Sankarshana, the Vishnu Purusha avatars. The Vishnu, or the deity of quality of goodness in the material world, is a Purusha avatar known as Kshiro Dakshayi Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity of Rajas, passion, and Shiva of ignorance. They are departmental heads of the three qualities of this material world. Creation is made possible by the goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does his Tandava Nritya. The materialists and the foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively, but the pure transcendentalists worship the form of goodness, Vishnu, in his various forms. Vishnu is manifested by his millions and billions of integrated forms and separated forms. The integrated forms are called Godhead, and the separated forms are called the living entities or the jivas. Both the jivas and Godhead have their own original spiritual forms. Jivas are sometimes subjected to the control of material energy, but the Vishnu forms are always controllers of this energy. When Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, appears in the material world, he comes to deliver the conditioned living beings who are under material energy. Such living beings appear in the material world with the intentions of being lords, and thus they become entrapped by the three modes of nature. As such, the living entities have to change their material coverings for undergoing different terms of imprisonment. The prison house of material world is created by Brahma under the instruction of the personality of Godhead. And at that conclusion of a kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. But as far as maintenance of the prison house is concerned, it is done by Vishnu, as much as the state prison house is maintained by the state. Anyone, therefore, who wishes to get out of the prison house of material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must please Vishnu for such liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only, and if anyone has to continue prison life in the material world, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. No demigod, however, can release the imprisoned living being from the conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. So there's a lot packed into this purport, but in Adi Leela, chapter 5, verse number 132, in the last paragraph of the purport, Śrīla Prabhupada is quoting from the Brahmanda Purana, where this verse says that like there's fire, from fire there comes different sizes of sparks. Like there's a big fire, and from a fire, like different sizes of sparks come. Some sparks are very small, some sparks are very big, like that. So it says that the original fire in this analogy is Krishna, and the smaller sparks are the living entities, and the bigger sparks are the Vishnu Tattva incarnations. Ultimately, the summary of the purport is that Krishna is the source of all these different incarnations. We can understand from this verse, Bhashvan yatamsha sakalesha nujesha teja Shriyam kiyat prakatati pitad atra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhana karta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That just like there's a Shamantaka jewel and different jewels, they have potency that comes from the different planetary systems. Like the sun keeps a certain amount of its potency in the Shamantaka jewel, and that way the Shamantaka jewel has some potency of its own. Similarly, Krishna empowers a particular jiva, a particular living entity, to come to the platform of the post of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is a living entity like you and me, but has very high qualification. And the Brahma Samhita we read that his whole, how our material body is made up of like in these 5 matters, earth, fire, water, and all these different elements. Brahma's body is strictly made of pure intelligence. His whole body is made of just intelligence. So that's the highest post you can get in this material world for a living entity. And this living entity is in charge of the mode of passion. And then Shiva, we learn from Nectar of Devotion, that has, like Krishna has 64 qualities, and then the living entities have 50 of these 64 qualities. And Shiva has 55 of these qualities of Krishna, and all the Vishnu Tattva incarnations have 60 qualities of Krishna. And the 4 qualities that separate Krishna from all the other Vishnu Tattva is that the way when he plays his flute is the sweetest. He has like the most attractive form among all Vishnu Tattvas. He has amazing childhood pastimes, and his devotees, like the devotees he has are the most unique devotees. Like you won't find like devotees like that of gopis for Lord Narayan or the cowherd boys for Lord Narayan. His devotees are very rare, and this establishes him to be the supreme personality of Godhead like that. When you can see that in one of the purports, Prabhupada says along these lines, I'm paraphrasing of course, that that Krishna is like God at home. You see, Krishna is just relaxing, having a good time, wearing a garland of forest flowers, just walking around, playing around, herding cows, drinking milk, stealing garments, and doing all these things. Whereas Vishnu is God in the office, where he's like, he's official, he's God, let come, like worship, he's fully worshipped in full Aishwarya. It's the aspect that's described of Vishnu is more of Aishwarya Bhav, that he has so much Aishwarya, and from him, all these universes are emanating. Yashaikanishvashita kalamatavalamya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnu Mahotsaha yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That this great person, Mahavishnu, is lying down in the ocean of milk, and then from him all these universes are emanating. And then from these, then he expands himself further as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and enters into these universes. Then he further expands himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu to enter into every atom of the universes. That is Mahavishnu, that's God in the office. But Krishna is simply God at home. You see, but this purport is talking about this aspect of Krishna, this aspect of understanding how Krishna is the supreme. You see, we are very proud when we throw a few Sputniks in the sky and they go and they circumambulate the earth and give us like a few demographics and this, that, and the other thing. We feel so proud. But what to speak of the Creator who created all these planetary systems, who created all these universes, who created all this, such a great personality? What to speak of Him? What to speak of this great supreme intelligence? And that intelligence is that of Krishna. You see, intelligence is that of Vishnu. In the Bhagavatam 11th canto, it says that Prakriti, like there's different, that there's Mahatattva and then there's Prakriti, right? And so the Mahatattva is like considered like this. Let's just say you want to have a car, right? So Mahatattva is considered like a car with all its parts just spread out everywhere. The car is there, but it needs to be assembled. And Mahatattva is considered the car just kept together and ready to go. So, at the time of creation, when Mahavishnu glances at the material universes, then what happens is he agitates the 3 modes of material nature, and then they're constantly in battle with each other. The minute Mahavishnu glances at the universes, the battle among the different modes starts. And each mode tries dominating another, and hence so many different varieties of creation is created, and different ages are predominated by different modes of material nature. The Satya Yuga is mainly predominated by the mode of goodness. The Treta Yuga is predominated by goodness and passion. And then Dwapar Yuga there's passion. Kali Yuga is mostly ignorance. That's why you see, like, finding goodness is so hard in the Kali Yuga. It's so rare to find someone in Sattva. It's such a rare thing because the nature of this age is that of ignorance. You see, and Śrīla Prabhupada is making this point here that materialists and foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively. You see, when people worship, who worships, who was the greatest materialist ever known to mankind in the history of the universe? Any guesses?
Ravana.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anyone else? Huh? Come on.
Donald Trump.
No. Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is considered he is considered the greatest materialist ever known to mankind. We're preaching, become the best you can be the best you can be, and we're suggesting worship Krishna. But if you want to be the best you can be, you should worship people like Hiranyakashipu who worship Lord Brahma. They're the highest enjoyers, they're the greatest enjoyers. You see, and Hiranyakashipu worship Lord Brahma, the greatest materialist. So great, so fantastic, so amazing. He got everything desirable. He was so powerful that other than Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, everyone else were bowing down in front of him. Even so much so to the level that even Narada Muni would go to his court and sing his praises. He would make Narada Muni bow down. He kept all the demigods out of their post. It said that out of the fear of Hiranyakashipu, like the water would start flowing the way it's supposed to flow, rain would come the way it's supposed to come, the sun would rise when it's supposed to rise. Just by him, twitching his eyebrows, the demigods would shiver in fright. That was the power of this great materialist. And who did he worship? He worshipped Brahma. And what did he get? Death. What did he get? He came in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who came and ripped him to shreds. Right? And and that's it. That was game over for him. That's why that's foolish, it's stupid. When you worship a demigod, Krishna says, Ashraddha dhana purusha dharmasya param tapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. He says that, those who, this is a classic Hiranyakashipu example, by the way. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me or conquer of any enemy. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. You see? So because, Hiranyakashipu was getting very good instructions from the saintly person, Prahlad Maharaj. He was saying, oh God, oh Father, please worship Vishnu. Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of God. You worship him. But he didn't have faith. So what did he get? He simply got repeated birth, death, old age and disease. Śrīla Prabhupada actually says that the Mayavadis use this verse to say that, here it says Hari, Virinchi and Hareti. Hari is for Vishnu, Virinchi is for Brahma, and Hareti is for Shiva. They say that, since Hari, Virinchi and Hareti are put together, the Mayavadis use this verse to say, you can worship Brahma, Vishnu or Shiva. But that's not the truth. Right? Because the next two lines of these, the next line of the verse says, Shreyamsi tatra kalo sattva tanur nrinamsyu. If you want your real Shreya, if you want your ultimate benediction, if you want the ultimate good for your own self and for those around you, you must worship Vishnu. Because, one of the next verses, it says, Bechire munayotagre, bhagwantam adokshijam, sattvam vishitam shemaya, kapante yenutaniha. It says, previously all great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from this material world. You see, that because, there's this saying in English, it's called, you are what you eat. You see, so usually it's if you eat a lot of meat, you become strong and this, that and the other thing. That's usually how the karmis use it. But if you look at it from the real aspect, from the absolute perspective, you are what you eat, you are what you eat with your ears. You're actually what you're focusing, you are what you eat, you are what you are focusing your mind upon. If you're fully focusing your mind upon being a gross materialist, let's just say one materialist one ass worships a greater ass. One murderer worships a greater murderer. One thief worships a greater thief. You see, even again, I've said this in class before. I used to, for all practical means and purposes, I used to worship many rock stars, so much so I would always listen to their music. I'd have their poster on my wall. I'd want to be like them. So when I found out about the intoxication they were taking, I tried taking it too. And I used to try playing their music. So I tried being so much so like them. And what did I become? I became like a hog and a dog, just like them. And then by Krishna's causeless mercy, I came in contact with the devotees and I started associating with the devotees. And as I was associating with the devotees, I tried to become like one of them. So similarly, the nature of Krishna is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Abhi Sabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That Krishna is so ecstatic that he's always Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. He's enjoying fully in the spiritual body. And when we come in and focus our consciousness upon this person, we come and focus your consciousness upon, the great pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we ourselves become absorbed in it. So much so that this absorption destroys all unwanted things in the heart, almost completely to nil. What's the famous verse? Shinvatam Sukata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hridayantasya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhitsatam. It says, Shri Krishna is the personality of Godhead, who is a Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So, we can hear the pastimes of Brahma, we can hear the pastimes of Shiva, but the pastimes of these great personalities we've mainly found in the Puranas, which is in the mode of passion and that of ignorance. So these are just meant to be a stepping stone to the highest, greatest scripture, which is the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We learn from the first chapter, Nigama Kalpa Tarorgalitam Palam Shukamukadam Ratadrava Samyatam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Malayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavaka. Translation is as follows. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literature. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful. Although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Right? So here we realize that the Bhagavatam is the highest scripture. And what does the Bhagavatam say? Etish shamsa kalapamsa krishyasu bhagavan swayam indriyani vakulam lokam mrigayanti yuge yuge. That of all the mentioned incarnations, the greatest and the supreme most incarnation of all is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he comes and protects Indra at the time of destruction. Here in the purport, Śrīla Prabhupada makes a very important point that the jiva is subjected to the material energy, but Krishna is not. Devi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But if you take shelter of me, overcome it. If you take shelter of Krishna, you can easily overcome it. So if you can just by taking shelter of a person, you can overcome it. Just imagine the greatness of the person. Because it's already, it's already under him. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bhavarti Durga Ichchana Rupam Apiyasya Chatesa Tesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The material energy is considered to be the shadow of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You say, so shadow is there, it's visible, but the main thing is the Supreme Person. So once we take shelter, and it says, this is a very important, Ichchan Rupam Apiyasya Chatesa. That Ichcha, Krishna's desire, according to Krishna's desire, the material energy acts. So if Krishna sees that you're taking devotional service seriously, he certainly, most surely, will make sure that the material energy will not affect you. The Mayas keep giving you tests, and you see, if you're in 10th grade and you take a test, it's not that you keep taking the 10th grade test even after you pass it. Once you pass it, then that's over. Then next test. And once after a certain point, you don't have to take tests anymore. And then you can go and do a job or whatever. So similarly, Maya is just giving us tests just to see how surrendered we are to Krishna. And the more surrendered we become to Krishna, the more Krishna removes the influence of the material energy away from us. And the less surrendered we become to Krishna, the more the material energy acts upon us. You see? And we can see from the history that was mentioned in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that even these great personalities, Brahma and Shiva, they're not really freed from the influence of the material energy, right? For example, we see the example of Brahma chasing after his daughter. Of course, Lord Brahma is a great personality and we must not consider him to be any lower because he did that. But he was influenced by this material energy when he was when he chased after his daughter, took a shape of a deer and chased after her. He could realize, oh my God, he's also influenced by material energy. Shiva, of course, this pastime, Prabhupada writes in the purport that is Yoga Maya. But in order to teach us a lesson, when Lord Vishnu, when Lord Krishna incarnated himself in the form of Mohini Murti, he came in front of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva ran around the whole universe, and there's a whole pastime that happened. You see, so these great personalities are also, to some level or another, they're not free of maybe they can be free, but they cannot give you full freedom by simply worshipping them. Only person that can give you freedom is obviously Krishna. Famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Kama Sesa Hita Jnana Prapadyanti Anya Devata Tam Tam Nimamashaya Prakritya Niyata Svaya. That, foolish people, let me read the exact translation. There you go. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. The demigods, they will give you, it's like this, you see. So Krishna is a great person who can free you from the prison house. But let's just say you're in the prison and you get close to the superintendent or whatever who's there. So instead of going and breaking rocks with the other prisoners, he'll let you type a few emails or something like that. He'll let you instead of breaking rocks, why don't you go and stick these post things together, envelopes together, or you can stick a sticker on this or something small. But is that happiness? Is that real freedom for the prisoner? No. Durga, very hard to get out. How will you get out of this very hard place? Only when you take shelter of Krishna. Only tasmat ekena manasa Bhagavan satatam pati shrotavyam kirtitavyasya deha puja shinitida. Therefore, with one pointed attention, we must constantly hear about and chant the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we do this, then we can actually expect ourselves to be freed from the material desires. You see, people don't understand this very important point. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. That you see, that if you have no material desires, or you have a lot of material desires, if you simply take shelter of the Supreme Personality of God and you perform tivra bhakti, intense devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you will naturally attain the highest benediction. Whatever you want, Krishna has it. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shadaya chitumichiti tasya tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vididam yaham. I am in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod and make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. You see, and the next verse he says, Sataya Shadaya Yukta Sasyaradana Mihate Labate Shatata Kaman Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan. Endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires, but in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Krishna is the only person who can actually fulfill all the desires. Even the demigods, they have no independence that they can give you whatever they like. Only if Krishna, the Yagyam Purusha, tells them, you give this person this, only then can he give them that. So basically, the conclusion is Mumukshava Guru Rupan Hitva Bhuta Patinata Narayana Kalashanta Bhajantya Anusuyava, which translation is as follows. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly not envious and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all-blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. So let's worship the Supreme Yagyam Purusha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come down in this age of Kali to deliver all the fallen conditioned souls and give them the highest thing which is not even obtained in the Satya Yuga. Let's worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Sachi, who came to deliver all the conditioned souls by performing the Yuga-dharma of Harinam Sankirtan and transcendental book distribution. Let's worship the Supreme Personality, whose great pure devotee Śrīla Prabhupada wrote his transcendental books, which are like small tickets to take people back home, back to Godhead in the form of Vaikuntha. You can go out there on the streets and tell people, hey, I have a ticket for you. Ticket? Where? Ticket to where? Ticket to go back home, back to Godhead. Ticket to Vaikuntha. Why don't you take this? You don't have much money? Give me $1. Give me $1 and you can go back home, back to Godhead. And that's no exaggeration. Just by giving the $1 and taking one small book even, those people are going to go back home, back to Godhead. What to speak of a Saptarishi? Sometimes when you're distributing books, things get so ecstatic that you're not even in control of yourself. Yesterday, Ryan Prabhu, can you please hand me a Saptarishi, please? Yesterday, there was this guy. I went up to him and I showed him this. I told him, Prabhuji, you must take this Saptarishi. Why don't you take it? Here you go. I put it in his hand. He said, how much? I said, open your wallet. He opened his wallet. I grabbed $50 out of the wallet and I gave him the books, and he was totally happy and cool about it. You see, it's so like, Prabhu, come on, let me see your wallet. Okay, I took $50 out of his wallet and like, all right, man, here you go. You can have this, Saptarishi. Happy holidays. I'll see you maybe in the spiritual world. So yeah, you can go crazy, you can go nuts. Everything desirable is fulfilled when you serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's come down with his eternal brother, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the head of the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, and under whose guidance the whole of New York City currently and the whole world eventually is going to be flooded by Śrīla Prabhupada's books, which is not different from the ocean of mercy that Lord Chaitanya showered upon us. Nitai Vinay Bhai Radha Krishna Paitinai. So let's take shelter of Lord Nityananda and let's push on this Sankirtan movement, and hence we can also get the mercy of Shri Radha Krishna and Radha Govinda, and then we can rightly claim Radha Govinda to be the real king and queen, not only of New York City, not only of America, not only of of this whole planet, but the whole world. And then we can actually spread and glorify Śrīla Prabhupada. Ebe Jash Gushitri Bhuvana. Let's spread Śrīla Prabhupada's glory and fame all over the three worlds. And we do that one book at a time. These books are not ordinary books. They're like, you see, when a termite enters into a great structure of wood, it may be huge, it may be big and amazing like the whole of New York City, but it's just a structure of wood. But these termites slowly enter this whole structure of wood, and it bites this wood up slowly. And one day someone just touches it and it just crashes to the ground, and no one understands what happened. It looked amazing. New York City was functioning just the way it was, but they didn't realize that these small transcendental termites are entering the city and breaking down the material consciousness of people, and slowly this rotten civilization will go crack, and we can establish the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in his rightful position to be worshipped by all living entities. You see, there's a story of a guy with a camel. He had, he was so wicked that this camel, he would just overload this camel so much. And then like once he saw that the camel was his legs were like shaking because there was so much weight. So he just put one straw on that camel's back and the whole camel collapsed. So they're creating this whole false civilization and they're doing all these things. But we're increasing, people are feeling the weight of these Saptarishis. People are feeling the weight of Śrīla Prabhupada's books. And slowly, and surely, this weight is causing this whole material civilization to shake. And you never know, the last pamphlet, the last small book, the last Saptarishi that you distribute may be the last straw on this camel's back, and then the whole material civilization will come crashing. And then we can establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Śrīla Prabhupada's fame can be spread all over the three worlds. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Any questions, comments, or protests? Yes, sir.
So you're from Prabhupada's purport about the demigods and in the pastime of Govardhan Hill, Lord Indra, he is described that he after he realized his mistake, he withdrew the Shambhataka clouds of destruction. So my question is, does he work for Lord Shiva? Because Lord Shiva is in charge of the dissolution and destruction of this universe. So that's the question.
I'm not exactly sure, but one thing is for sure that there's always Shamadaka, they're not Shamadaka, Samvartaka clouds that come at the time of destruction and like they shower, rain for a long time. But it's clearly said Indra is a devotee of Krishna. And that's why Krishna took his pride away.
Because it seems like I thought Lord Shiva that was his duty.
Yeah, it's due to destruction, but Indra is also in charge of rain, etc. So he's like pours upon. Yes, Vishnu Prabhu.
I had a question. You mentioned that Brahma took the form of a deer.
Not. What's it? It starts with an S. It's called. I'll tell you the exact word. I'm not able to remember it, but I looked it up. It's basically something like he chased after his daughter, not in the farm that he was in. But it's mentioned in the third canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Well, I just went through the verses. I couldn't find them.
I'll send you guys the verse. I remember reading this.
You also went through that?
When I didn't see that chapter, and I believe
I'll send you this. Yeah, but it's clearly stated, right, that Brahma,
It doesn't say he took any form.
I'll send you the purport.
Maybe it's some Acharya's comment, but I went through the purport. So anyway, I'm just asking for the reference.
Yeah. I'll give you a reference for sure.
And
About the Rhine.
It mentions that he gave up his subtle body. They gave up his
subtle body.
He gave up this.
Yeah.
He gave up his, but his body itself is subtle, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's made only of intelligence. I was just curious. I never heard that he went.
Yeah. I'll find you the exact point. Definitely not a speculation.
So here, Śrīla Prabhupada states that in the purport that he says creation is made in the mode of goodness by Vishnu.
Yeah, I was also pretty surprised when I read that.
In the same chapter, Śrīla Prabhupada states in 23rd verse that the creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and endeavor, and is maintained by the mode by goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does it by the Tandava Nritya.
Right.
So
the way I harmonized it was that Teni Brahma Hridaya Adikave Muhyanti Surya, Vishnu in the form of pure goodness inspires Lord Brahma, and it's even said in the Bhagavatam that Vishnu is a primary creator and Brahma is his assistant. So from Vishnu everything comes about. So Vishnu creates the original the main structure. It's actually said in the Bhagavatam that the lotus stem that comes out of Vishnu and that Brahma is on top of, within that lotus stem all the planetary systems and all that is contained inside that. So you can say Vishnu is the initial creator and Brahma is the assistant engineer also. So ultimately Vishnu is creating even the raw materials and everything required for Lord Brahma. In the 11th canto there's extensive descriptions about how all this is made, and we can understand that all this was initially Krishna gives all the raw materials. Krishna creates all the ground for Brahma to come and work on it. So that's how I understood that thing of Śrīla Prabhupada writes in the purport.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I also thought, of course, the same explanation, but until the guna avatars come, Vishnu is not influenced by the modes of material nature. The gunas are actually produced at a later stage of the creation, and but here I found in another purport, in the second canto, where Prabhupada writes that about the Mahatattva being agitated. He says that the Mahatattva is the principle of material creation. When it's agitated by the will of the Supreme, at first the modes of passion and goodness are prominent. Afterwards, the mode of passion being generated in due course of material activities of different varieties become prominent. Probably there's also something that has to do with that Hiranyagarbha Brahma.
Yeah, that's a very technical point.
Where Prabhupada is saying generated by the mode of goodness, because the Brahma that came out of this lotus stem is full of the mode of passion.
Yeah.
Primarily the mode of passion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the lot of research needs to take place in that, like, at some point, want to contact Gokul Chandra Prabhu, the devotees who were in charge of doing that. It's not about
I like the point you made about the termites going into like a big house, and then one day the house just falls down. No one really saw what's coming, and it reminded me, sometimes people make the point of the more subtle something is, the more powerful it is. I can hit someone with a hammer, or I can use less force with the knife, or like, the atom bomb is like the most subtle, like, material thing we can see, like the atom, and that's the most powerful thing. So then now we're getting even more subtle than that, it's the spiritual vibrations. So it seems that we're like a very small force applying like the spiritual vibration, but because it's so subtle, it's more subtle than anything material, then it has more power than even like an atom bomb.
Yeah.
So we should, like Rameshwar Prabhu said, like there's these people that they're kind of in Maya that they think, oh, book distribution doesn't really work. We distributed 500 million books, or like almost 1 billion books. But what has happened? But they're such tiny, narrow-minded. They think their eyes can see. The termites have destroyed the entire building. And what has happened? The termite. Some other termites, like, these termites have been in there for so long. What's happening to the building? Why didn't it fall down yet? But it's like it's on. Yeah.
That's
And
very
so
good point. Yeah.
and so we shouldn't be we shouldn't be dissuaded by that. And we should try to convince them that they should also help out. There's a lot of devotees now that are just kind of burnt out, and for whatever other reason, those who don't have life, those who have life preach, and on the other hand, those who don't have life, if they preach, then they'll get life.
Yeah.
And so
That's our philosophy. Talking?
Yeah. So
the weight of Prabhupada's books.
Weight of Prabhupada's books is pretty heavy.
so I have a comment and a question. So this is Canto 3, Chapter 31, Text 36. Prajapati Swayam Dvitram Drishta Tad Rupa Darshitaha Rohit Bhutam Samadad Vriksha Rupi Hata Trapa. This is for you. At the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and seamlessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a
stag.
Stag, that was it, stag.
Yeah, stag's like a deer pretty much.
There you go.
It's like
Yeah, it's a deer.
Male deer.
And then
My boy.
the question was, just to clarify, so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, and that one who worships the demigods are the demigods, and one shouldn't worship the demigods. He doesn't have sufficient intelligence. But we also understand that the head of Sampradayas, specifically, Orva Sampradaya, is a demigod.
Right.
And that the Vaishnava are doing that or something.
Yeah, so usually it's also considered, the intent of worshipping someone is also considered. You see, we even say that Prachetas, who became pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they took shelter of Lord Shiva, and Shiva spoke the Rudra Gita. Right? So whatever you approach a demigod for, if you certainly approach the demigods who are like devotees of Krishna for Krishna Bhakti, they will certainly guide you in the right direction, because ultimately that's what they want.
Another example was...
Even in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it says that all these people, they were simply worshipping the demigods, and the demigods were feeling bad that even they weren't even offering anything to Vishnu, and hence they were displeased. And then Advaita Acharya, came and he preached, then he got Lord Chaitanya to come, etc.
And then on the other hand, it's like in Jagannath Puri, the way they do it, they offer everything to Jagannath, and then after that, they offer it to all these different demigods, including, the Bimala Prasad, or Bimala Devi.
Bimala Devi, right?
And so that it's like you can worship them as as Vaishnavas.
Yeah, and also another important thing is that yes, there's demigods in the material world, but they're actually named after the eternal associates of Krishna in the spiritual world. There's a spiritual personality called Indra, there's a spiritual personality called Ganesh, a spiritual personality called Sadashiva. all these are spiritual personalities, and out of them, you know, these personalities are named. You see, so like it's a very you know, subtle, you know, complicated thing, but ultimately all boils down to the desire of the jiva. You see, like I know many people who like they're first chanting Om Namah Shivaya, and then they came across devotees, and then, you know, they took to Krishna consciousness seriously. But something like that happened to you? No, right? That was not.
Another example is the young they worshipped Lord Shiva to get Krishna as in
Katyayani. Right.
No. Katyayani is Durga.
Durga. No. You're saying gopis worship Shiva, I mean Katyayani. Okay, they worship Durga to get Krishna. Yes.
Priya Krishna Prabhu has a question. He says, did Narada Muni ever bow down to Hiranyakashipu? If so, when and what were the circumstances?
So in the 7th canto is described, so even Narada Muni had to come and sing the glories of Hiranyakashipu. I'm not exactly sure if you bowed down to him or not. Again, I can send the exact words, Priya Krishna Prabhu, when I find it. But it's very clearly stated that even Narada Muni had to bow down, or not bow down, but like at least like glorify and worship Hiranyakashipu. Like all the great sages, they would come. It's also described that Hiranyakashipu had like so much stages and so much prowess that like when he'd go to these, like, you know, the planets and where the great sages are, they would try to curse him, but like his stages were so much greater that they couldn't do it. So like that, he was so elevated, you know, materially speaking. Yes.
It's even described in that section, in that regards, that sometimes even even sometimes, you know, devotees have to, you know, glorify some demoniac person.
Right.
Seemingly, you know, just for the purpose of socially or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump is such a great person.
Yeah, wow, yeah, sure. You know, we like, even me, like when we were distributing books for the highest cause, we go up to some guy who was like absolutely drunk out of his mind, and we tell him, wow, you look like such a saintly person, so amazing. What's a good smell? Is that alcohol? No. What's a good smell? Oh, really? Wow, man, you deserve this, bro. You deserve this. You tell me you deserve. How the heck do they deserve it? I think that's for the ultimate shreyas of the humanity.
If he bowed down or sung his glories, it's kind of like that's maybe superficially what he did, but he ultimately was the one who was the cause of his death, because he instructed his wife, who had Prahlad in the womb, and Prahlad was hearing, and then that's how Prahlad. You know.
Right, like I think the termite was already in there, waiting for Hiranyakashipu's.
So Ryan had a question.
Yeah, he's in Kalki, yes. He's going seniority, yes.
I have the verse, of at least one of them, that, like you were saying with Narada Muni. In the word for word Sanskrit, I won't chant it all, but it says, including ourselves, Narada and others also glorified Hiranyakashipu. In the translation purport, it's O Mara Yudhisthira descended upon you. By dint of his personal power, Hiranyakashipu, being situated on the throne of King Indra, controlled the inhabitants of all the other planets. The two Gandharvas, Vishvasu, and Tarumva, I, myself, Narada Muni, and the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, and sages all offered prayers to him again and again just to glorify him. And Prabhupada says in the purport. The Asuras sometimes become so powerful that they can engage even Narada Muni and similar devotees in their service. This does not mean that Narada was subordinate to Hiranyakashipu. Sometimes, however, it so happens in this material world that great personalities, even great devotees, can also be controlled by the Asuras. Oh my God, that's real.
Wow. I told you, which verse is that?
7:4-14.
Can you take
some chances?
7:4. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, you want to say something?
Just a simple question, but I don't know. I'm hoping the answer is simple too.
That's simple.
Krishna is infinite, correct?
Right.
If he is infinite, how is expansion possible?
How is expanding? Is this sun infinite?
Because infinite means there's no beginning, no end.
And so like
expansion means that there is actually.
Right, so there's never a point. So you see this whole understanding of expansion, this person came from this person came from that person came from that. It's just for us to understand with a relative state of understanding. You see, like, you don't exactly know what it means to be eternal because your whole conception of everything is relative, right? In this material state, in material conception, through your material senses, you can only perceive that this came from this came from that came from that came from that. And in reality, it was all eternally existing. You see, but these are all. So again, it's Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva. You need to understand that every step of our philosophy is Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva. The first word of the whole philosophy is Achintya, inconceivable, simultaneous, oneness and difference. That's our philosophy. So at some point, again, Śrīla Prabhupada, actually it's an important point. You should read this verse again. I'm sure you already read the Bhagavad Gita. You told me you did. So chapter 9, verse number 3. It's a very important thing Śrīla Prabhupada writes that the faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. That is the purpose of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people, even after hearing all evidence of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is the most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that faith is a complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. So then, one part of this paragraph, Prabhupada says, therefore, after reading Bhagavad Gita, one should probably come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other engagements and adopt the service of Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. So you need to understand that he is limited, right? That's not hard to understand. That Krishna is unlimited, and that every aspect of philosophy is achintya, and hence, when we say this person came from this person came from that, it's just for our understanding of who is ultimately the top guy. Krishna. Is that okay?
There's unlimited. Krishna is not just unlimited, because there's semantically, there's limited. Unlimited. There's, according to Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, there's more unlimited,
right?
And there's most unlimited.
Let's just burn all the dictionaries in the world, man. Let's just screw it.
Yeah, why not?
Words don't matter.
Yeah, they actually don't. You should read the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. If you read 41 pages a day, you read the whole Bhagavatam. And in that, there's this chapter in the 10th canto, is one of the last chapters, called Prayers of the Personified Vedas. And exactly the point you're speaking about is mentioned in it. I can give you the chapter. You should read it. You should read. They ask like, since you're inconceivable, since you're amazing, O Vishnu, why do you even have words to describe you? Because words can't really fully describe you. So the answer given is that the reason there are words and everything is so that the jiva, the living entity, can at least have something they can relate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Person is so great, he's so inconceivable, so amazing. How is a small infinitesimal jiva going to relate to the infinite Supreme? So there's some via medium through which you can understand. So hence, yes, words obviously are not going to do a full task of glorifying Krishna, but it's something to start with.
And another way to go at that question is that you're saying something limitless can't expand. And it's not necessarily that he's expanding, he's not making something more than himself. Something's coming out of him, but he's remaining complete. Like
it shouldn't be called expansion, it should be called modification.
Well, Prabhupada used
Prabhupada is expansion, we prefer expansion.
It's like
I said, just burn all the dictionaries.
You should probably.
They just don't.
And you just keep the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, just keep the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and just burn all the dictionaries.
Sounds good.
That's
Chanchu?
I just have to say that thank you for your class. When you speak, it feels like I'm reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
That's the best thing. Yeah.
Thank you. It was very ecstatic to hear.
Jan.
I have a little small humble suggestion.
Way over time.
Small humble suggestion.
Yes, sir.
Although for example, I like to hear speakers like, for example, Mahanita Swami. He speaks almost as fast as you do.
Whoa.
And
oh man, that's nice. That's been nice.
and His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj speaks like 20 times slower, because he was a psychology student before he joined. But if you do speak slower, people that are online that English is not their mother tongue, And
Yeah, there's been like constant problem. And Bhagavatam became smiling and explaining.
otherwise, everything is okay.
Yeah, thank you. Alright. Grantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam
Ki Jai.
Going back home, back to Godhead.
Ki Jai.
Ki Jai. This one life Ki Jai. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada.
Ki Jai. Transcendental Buddhist wisdom. Ki Jai.
Mahotsaha Prabhu ke